Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is the first time you watch one of my videos, welcome back if you've been here before. In both cases, thanks for viewing my video. In this video, I'm going to do the book murderer tag. I was tagged in a video by Pat at Book Chat with Pat. I'm just going to repeat what Pat said to properly credit the creator of this video and two people who influenced the creation of this video. This is a fun tag from the awesome Noah at Bookworm, WYRM, 1060. Noah created this after his live stream with Elaine at Cobalt Dragon and Ven at Vens_corner. There are 6 prompts in this tag. These prompts all deal with what some would consider mutilation, I suppose, or some people doing things to books that not everybody approve of. I have to say, intellectually, of course, intellectually a person owns a book, they should do what they want with that book. It's their book, they should be able to do what they want. Some of the things talked about in these prompts do kind of make me cringe, but it's certainly not my right to tell somebody what they should do as far as their books go. So when I answer these prompts, it's like just my views on it, not to be interpreted as telling somebody else. Even if I say I might cringe if I see them do it. I know it's their right to do it. The first prompt is, what are your thoughts on spine breaking? I don't believe in it. I don't do it. When I open a book, I generally open it only as much as I have to. Like, for instance, in this book, if I'm reading it, I'm only going to open it as much as I need to do to read the book. I'm not going to push it down, like flatten it out so it'll sit flat. I try not to break the spine. I probably have broken a spine at some point, but it certainly was something I would try to avoid doing. I have seen videos where people kind of I guess you could call it work in their books, where they do a few pages and then they kind of open it, and they do a few pages, they kind of like open, they do a few more, and they kind of flatten it like that. They kind of condition their book to make it easier for them to read. That's not something I would ever do. The second prompt is bookmarks or dog-earing pages. It's bookmarks. To my memory, I don't ever remember dog-earing a page. My bookmarks aren't always professional bookmarks. A lot of times, like I suppose for many of us, they're receipts or little pieces of paper. But it is bookmarks. When I was much younger, I guess perhaps maybe my memory was better, I didn't even need bookmarks. I would just be able to go back to the page I've been reading, continue the book, but it's definitely bookmarks. I wouldn't dog-ear a page. The third prompt is page tearing or ripping. I don't quite understand this. It implies that by choice somebody might rip a page or tear it. I don't even understand the concept of it. This is one thing that I would kind of say it is. Like, I might judge somebody if I see them rip the page. I know it's their book, but if I see a rip a page out of the book, maybe I'm going to get a little judgmental about it. I'm never going to tell you it, never going to say anything to you, but I'm going to kind of look a little askance at it. I don't know why you would do this except by accident. Certainly, the almost 6 years of books I've been reading, I'm sure I know I've torn pages by accident, but I would never purposely do it, and I don't see the purpose of it. Even if you wanted something written on a page, I don't see why you wouldn't maybe, I don't know, take a photo of it or something like that. The fourth prompt is writing in books. This is one maybe I recently broke with kind of what I've been implying so far. The books are something to be kept in as pristine condition as possible. I didn't think that annotating or writing in books would be for me until I did a buddy read with Nix at Nix Reads, and we read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. And when I knew we were going to do this buddy read, I did get some annotating supplies, some tabs, some markers, and I did annotate. You can see I got tabs here. There is, I've written in the book, and For the purpose of the buddy read, it was annotating was a really good idea, because otherwise I might have had to just, every time I thought of a comment, just enter it in. We did it in Storygraph. Enter it in Storygraph, and that would have been kind of tedious. The way I did my annotation, when I was reading the book, I would come upon something I wanted to comment upon, and I put a tab there. I wouldn't enter it in the book at that point. I would do all my reading for the day, then I go back where my tabs were, and I write it in the book, and then later that day, or maybe the next day, I would enter them as Storygraph. So in that case, annotation really worked really well for me, and it was beneficial. In most cases, I don't see why I would want to annotate. I can't think of another reason besides a buddy read, because I'm not the type of person to reread a book. If it's not a special edition or a autographed copy, I generally donate it most of the time at the local library. So I don't really see the need for me to annotate, but that is one thing where I can certainly understand why people do it, and I've come to understand why they would and why it makes sense to do it. If it's a book you're going to revisit, or in a case of a buddy read. The fifth prompt is ripping covers and bookbinding. I can't see why anybody would want to rip the cover. We've all seen in the copyright pages of physical books where it says if you purchase this book without a cover, it was stolen, so you shouldn't do it. So that's a criminal reason for doing it. I don't see why a person would choose to rip their cover. To rip the bookbinding, I recently became aware that you shouldn't recycle books because the glue binds the pages of the bookbinding. So I can see in that case that you would want to rip the pages out of the bookbinding. If the book was in such poor shape, you couldn't sell it or donate it, you would want to recycle it. So in that case, you'd have to, because they don't want glue in paper when you recycle it. I think that maybe you can start a fire. I'm not sure why for sure, but I can see that reason, but it's the only reason I can think of for ripping a book binding, assuming ripping a book binding means ripping the pages out of it, which I think it does. The sixth prompt is tag some people. First, I want to say, if you viewed this video, please consider yourself tagged. If it looks like something you're interested in doing, please do a video with one or more of the prompts, or reply to my comments with one or more of the prompts. But I am going to tag a group of people. I did my best to look at the channels of people that I typically tag. Did discover a few that have done this tag previously, so I removed them from my list. There's a risk there that I won't remember to put them back in next time, but I did do this. So if you have done this tag and I missed that you did, apologies. But these are the people I'm tagging. Nigel at Reading Ideas -UZ9XK, John at Disquiet and Dragons -LH3ZM, Suey at Suey's Book Banter, Nix at Nix Reads, Phillip Hall at A Poet Reads to Write, Smiti at A Book Smitten, Kayla V at Reading with Kayla V, Justin at Trumple Reads, Milena at Milena Milano, 8833, Fred at Read by Fred, Roy at Roy Reads Anything, Cliff at Cliff's Dark Gems, Jen at Literary Love 123, Flossy at the Grape Jelly Library, Maeve at Maeve _ever _books, and I at I_02. As always, if it's something you like to do, do it. One or more of the prompts in a video, or reply to my comments if it's not something you want to do. I never want anyone to think that I consider it any obligation to do the video or do the answers. And if I didn't tag you and you like to do tags, please let me know. I'll add you to my list. If you don't want to be tagged, please let me know and I'll remove you. So far nobody's asked me to do that, but if you don't want to be tagged, please let me know. I'll certainly remove you from the list. I actually found this tag a pretty easy tag to do. For the first time ever, I didn't think out my answers ahead of time. I have, as I said, my ideas about how books should be treated, and at least for me, how they should be treated. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like, please subscribe, please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos. I hope you're having a wonderful reading week, and I hope you have a wonderful week in general.